Horizon Gents, one Blue CG reaction, and this is Miscellaneous Miss Sisyphus. Yeah, Sisyphus captures death. Well, the channel overly sarcastic production. Ever wonder where the whole notion of capturing death even comes from? Yeah, it happens a lot in that TV show Supernatural. I watched all of the seasons of Supernatural except the latest past few. And I felt like it was dragging a bit. But yeah, I started watching that a long time ago. I don't remember. I guess 10 years or something ago. Yeah, in that obviously they capture death a lot, but that has no biblical backing towards it. It starts from Greek mythology. Yeah. So yeah, it's not exactly widespread, but it sure seems to show up a lot more than we might expect. Well, worry no longer. Turns out it's all because the ancient king Sisyphus had a fantastic, terrible idea that worked out badly for everyone involved. Yeah, okay. So I guess Sisyphus is some clever guy, like how Odysseus is. Odysseus was clever, known for his clever mind. So Sisyphus was like that. He literally captured death. Okay. This is going to be fun. All the sarcastic production videos are just awesome. Obviously I've reacted to all the videos I've reacted to. Most of them are Red's video, all about mythology and Greek mythology and different type of things, Thor and things like that. I did react to the Blues video yesterday about Inca, Aztec and history. I'm going to react to more of Blues videos. I love history too. But yeah, this is Red's video. So, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out other reactions I did. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast for playlists like Overly Sarcastic Production, Internet Historian, I guess Salmonella, Tierzu, Real Life Lore, Kazgazat. And yeah, let's watch this one.
Hey, any of you ever read Sandman? For the purposes of this explanation, I'm going to pretend you haven't. The precipitating event in the first comic volume is that this guy tries to capture death in order to become immortal. He missed and got her brother Dream instead, which was good, not for Dream obviously, but for everybody else. See, capturing death always has consequences, usually of the nobody dies.
Wait a minute. Confined in a glass box for 70 years and 10, a human lifetime. Time moves no faster for my kind than it does for humanity, and in prison it crawled at a snail's pace. Okay, I am the lord of this realm of dream and nightmare.
Obviously, but for everybody.
What, you want a death? Then count yourself lucky for the sake of your species and your petty planet that you did not succeed. That instead you snared death's younger brother.
Else.
So Dream is Death's younger brother, huh?
See, capturing death always has consequences, usually of the nobody dies variety, which is never as much fun as it sounds. Now, personifying death is already a weird concept, especially...
Yeah, I mean, I've seen lots of scenarios. I think even Family Guy did that episode. I think, the death of Family Guy is just, damn awesome sarcastic character. I love that. In the Family Guy, they did that too. Like, Death was just preoccupied. He broke his ankle or something. Death broke his ankle, so nobody could die. So, Peter Griffin was basically jumping off of the roof of buildings and he never died or some weird thing like that. But yeah, that is weird to think.
Especially since death is just the incredibly complex and delicate machinery that drives us, suffering an unrecoverable error. Turning that concept into a person is kind of a leap, but at the very least it's a leap that was taken a very long time ago, although it's not actually culturally universal. More common than the anthropomorphic personification of death is the concept of the psychopomp, a spirit meant to guide already dead souls to the requisite afterlife. Now, Greek mythology has its fair share of psychopomps. The word is even Greek in origin, but it also has a personification of death, the god Thanatos. Now, Thanatos wasn't the most well-liked deity, mostly because people get a little put off by the constant reminders of their own mortality. But we should always remember that just because we don't like the job someone's doing doesn't mean we shouldn't be grateful the job's being done. This is the story of Sisyphus.
Yeah, that is so awesome, isn't it? Whenever in any mythology the death is portrayed, death is not evil, right? Death is death. Death doesn't do malicious things. Death does what death does. I mean, its job is just Grim Reaper, basically, taking souls or whatever. But everybody fears death because it's death. It's literally its literal job is to take somebody's life. So that automatically makes it really, I guess, feared thing. So in any mythology, any TV show, anything, any place you see, whenever the topic of death comes, everybody just gets scared, like, oh, it's death.
Capturing death. So, let's talk about Sisyphus. He's mostly known for his eternal punishment in Hades, which is a sure sign that he's going to be a real character in life. See, Sisyphus is a king, but more importantly, he's also a terrible host, as he's made a habit of murdering his guests in their sleep and taking all their stuff. This is obviously a gross violation of—
What? That's worse than bandits, man. All the basically pirates and bandits. At least they come off as bandits and try to kill you while you look at them. This is just effed up. We're talking about cheap, man. Really? I mean, you're a king. Come on.
The laws of hospitality, which were kind of a big deal in ancient Greece, and the gods collectively decide that something must
Okay, that's Zeus. Alright, that makes sense.
be done about this. Hades suggests that they just kill him and move on, points for efficiency, and the gods agree that that's probably the easiest solution. So Hades calls up Thanatos and tells him to bring Sisyphus in, but he warns him that Sisyphus
Oh, wait
is
a minute. I
really
need
the
to read
easiest
that.
solution. So Hades
Hey man, I got a guy for you. This is awesome. Okay, first of all, Thanatos is literal death, right? Human shape of literal death. Because I remember, I guess there was a debate over this. Like people were saying, like some guy probably talking about Thanatos, that's the Lord of the Dead in the Greek mythology. Well, somebody said that Hades is basically Lord of everything, death and underworld, everything. Well, somebody was arguing that Thanatos is the Lord of the Dead. Then the guy said Hades is literal Lord of the underworld, Lord, King of the underworld, King of, I guess, hell or whatever. So basically, he's boss of some kind of Thanatos. So even though Thanatos is death, Hades is king of Thanatos. Basically Thanatos is under Hades. So Hades eventually is king of the dead, even though Thanatos is the death. Because Hades is basically has, I guess, higher power or something like that. I don't know. Is that true? I mean, is Thanatos, the basically death, and Hades is also king of the dead since he's above Thanatos, or what's that? I mean, there's a bit of confusion there. Man, I love this. Hades basically calls up, the death and says, dude, is the Lord of the underworld, the king himself. And Thanatos will be like, who? Dude, Lord of the underworld, Hades, who you thought I am? Now listen, I want you to kill this guy because that's your thing, right? And Thanatos is going like, oh, I get it. So Zeus wants somebody dead, huh? And then Hades just stares at him with, this angry face saying nothing. The joke here is, Hades is just, lapdog of Zeus. I mean, I know that's not the case, but, Zeus tells him to do things and he does things. So far, all the stories I've seen, that's the case. It's always that's the case, I guess. So, yeah.
Hades calls up Thanatos and tells him to bring Sisyphus in, but he warns him that Sisyphus is really clever and might think of a way to escape. So, just in case, Hades gives him a special set of chains to bind Sisyphus' spirit and ensure that he can't get away. So Thanatos zips on over to Sisyphus' castle and looms ominously until Sisyphus acknowledges his presence. Now the problem is, Sisyphus is clever. So when he sees the specter of death looming over him with handcuffs and a grumpy expression, he thinks fast and starts oohing and ahhing over the craftsmanship of the chains. While Thanatos is distracted and more than a little confused, Sisyphus catches him by surprise and chains him up with his own shackles. Then he stuffs the captured god in a trunk and goes about his day. Now obviously Thanatos can't do his job like this, so for the next few days nothing can die, and this ends up pissing off Ares, since there's no fun in war if nobody dies from it. The gods start looking for Thanatos, but because proper detective procedure hadn't been invented yet, it takes a whole month before they think to look in his last known location. But meanwhile, Sisyphus figures out that he probably doesn't have much time before his shenanigans are discovered, so he makes his wife promise to not do the proper funerary procedures for him when he ends up dead. Shortly thereafter, Ares smashes in, busts out Thanatos, and together they jump Sisyphus and drag him down into Hades. But when they get there, Sisyphus is all, "Oh, Persephone, it's awful! My wife didn't even give me a funeral! She just tossed my body onto the street! Can you believe this?" And Persephone's like, "Oh, that's terrible, you poor thing!" and allows him to return to Earth for 3 days in order to arrange a burial.
Man, talking about clever. He's damn clever. What a trickster too, man. Seriously, he knew this would happen. He knew he'd have to, basically, plead to somebody. Obviously, he can't do that to Hades, so he has to do with the Persephone, I guess. So he saw this all in his mind. So in advance, he just told his wife, like, don't do all these things.
On his wife, etc. Now, obviously, Sisyphus hops right back into his corpse, pops back indoors newly alive, and refuses to return to the underworld. Thanatos cannot be persuaded to try and recollect him, so Sisyphus lives a long, lucrative life until he dies of old age many years later, whereupon he finds himself point blank on a pissed-off Persephone, a grumpy Thanatos, and a Hades approximately 110% done with his nonsense. Sisyphus is punished by being forced to roll an enormous boulder up a hill. Every time he reaches the top, the boulder falls down the hill again. Hence his punishment in death is to do something useless over and over again, in the same way that cheating death, an ultimately pointless endeavor, was his hobby in life. Fun times!
I mean, that is so true, isn't it? What's the point of cheating death and pissing off people who you're going to meet eventually anyway? I mean, how long are you going to go? Are you going to stay alive? One day you will die, and then for eternity you're going to be there with the people that you pissed off. So he was not much. He was not really smart, was he? Sisyphus was not that smart. I mean, yeah, he lived his whole life, but now what? Yeah, okay, so that's a different version. Yeah, see again, in some of them, Sisyphus captures Hades instead of Thanatos, albeit with same effects, implying that Hades is Lord of the Dead. So I think, I might be wrong here, but, I think Thanatos is literally death. Thanatos' job is to make sure everybody dies and the cycle continues. But since Hades is Lord of the Endeavor, he's Lord of Thanatos too. So technically, it's Hades' job too, like, so overseeing all the people of death. So that's why he's, I guess, king of the dead or something like that. In at least one version, Zeus wants him dead because he spilled some secret or other, rather than general dickishness. Thinking about it, his wife sure does put up with a lot, yeah. Yeah, but seriously, first her husband keeps murdering their guests. Why? That's a really cheap thing to do just to get their things, I guess. Then his still screaming soul gets the drag to Hades moments after he tells her not to give him a proper burial. Yeah, I mean, that is something. He was just there and he was telling her, don't give me proper burial. Like, okay, that's an odd thing to say. Why are you gonna die and why won't I give you proper burial? And suddenly Thanatos comes out and just drags him down. She watches all these things. Then half hour later he walks into like nothing happened. That'd be so weird to see, man.
Seasons don't feel.
There's a short bit in Sandman where Satan empties hell and all the dead souls come back. Death is so horrendously overworked trying to wrangle them all that she misses some people who should by all rights be dead. Okay.
The reaper, nor do the wind, the sun, or the rain.
To the surprise of few, it's less humanity is trying for mortality and more zombie invasion. Only the zombies are also asshole British school children.
Like they are. Come on, baby. Don't fear the reaper. Baby.
Yeah. Man, this was a good story. So far, I've read through all this miscellaneous about Greek mythology, and it's always anything around Hades is the one of the most fun stories there is. Hades and Persephone. This Sisyphus captures death, and there was also what I recently just read to about Hades, and that that's a short story thing too. Yeah, this was awesome. All right, people. If you like my reaction, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the lyrics I did. There's a link in the description. Check out the cast of the playlist. Check out the end cards, and I'll see you next time.